Hello there, I have been scrapbooking for 24 years now. Over the past 10 years I've only made about 6 scrapbook albums. I've been looking at my albums that I made so many of from 10 years plus ago, and a lot of the pages have gone bad, so there's a separate video about that, and you can find the link at the end of this video. I have still got quite a few layouts that are fine, so I've selected some to show you here. Although the products are old, because they're 10, 15 years old, whatever, you can still use the idea, but use more recent products. So this one, I have used some cork letters and gemstones, some ribbon, some border peel-offs, and I coloured it in with a permanent marker, and I used some flowers there. Now all these items were acid free, but now when you find border peel-offs, they don't tend to say acid free on the packet, but back then you got a lot of peel-offs by Anita's, and they did say acid free, but now the Anita's peel-offs don't seem to say acid free on them, but all acid free there. And then I've got this layout where I used a piece of acetate, it was patterned acetate. Then I had some letter stickers, which again I had some Whispers brush marker pens. They were acid free and they were permanent, so I used them to colour in my stickers there because they weren't the right colour. Then I used some acid free gemstones, and again this is a border strip, and then from part of the acetate I cut out the flower at the top. And this was back in the day when you could still get reasonably priced Polaroid film. Can't get that anymore. Now this one I like, although one gemstone has fallen off, so I need to replace it, but I don't have this hole punch anymore. It was an X-cut hole punch of a raindrop, and I just punched out multiple different colours of the raindrop and used it on my layout. And again I used brads in each corner. I had alphabet peel-offs and I coloured them in with the pens I mentioned before. Okay, now this layout is an autumn layout, and I believe that this paper came with a Scrapbook magazine, and so did this owl. And I think all the bits came with the magazine apart from the buttons and the ribbon, which I had in my stash. Now this layout I like because I like bubbles. So I think I once had a pack of, like a book with some papers in, and that's where this came from. And this, I believe, was a Creative Memories bubble punch. And then I just used my circle punch. I had 2 different sizes to cut out, and then I had some acid-free glitter glue. I believe it's from Dovecraft. They made acid-free glitter glue, and that's what I used on there. And then just a piece of ribbon. This one was White Scar Caves in Blackpool, and what I did was I trimmed the photos to look like stalactites and stalagmites. Yeah, so I wanted them to look like stalactites and stalagmites. So that's why I cut the photos. And I stuck the photos down, but just for extra effect, I put a brad on each. And these are brads as well. And then I just had these letter stickers in various colours. These ones again are the peel-offs, which I coloured in, because peel-offs are mainly gold or silver, so I coloured them in. Now this one is a Christmas layout. Again, I had all these lovely stickers back in the day, so many of them, by various companies, but a lot of my stuff was from Paper Mania, Do Crafts, right? And this is my Creative Memories cutter that I had. Well, I've still got it. It's a shape cutter, and I've got circles and ovals and all sorts. And a thing I like to do a lot on Christmas layouts is make baubles then either use a bit of ribbon, or this again was a border peel off, and just add a brad there. And just for effect, around the edge, I added some brads just for extra effect. And this was when I got a Christmas present of a Disney scrapbook album to put all my Disney photos in. Now this one, the pictures were taken at Windsor Great Park, and again, all these products are Do Crafts products, design objectives, and basically I used a flower punch, which I did back then have an X-cut flower punch, but my current flower punch is a different brand, EK Success I believe, and I used a brad for the centre of the daffodils and vellum to make the petals, not the petals, to make the leaves. And then I cut up the flowers and I managed to make them straight, so I was able to do a nice border strip there, again with gemstones, because Do Crafts used to do so much acid free stuff. Now only some of their stuff is acid free. As I say, the Anita stuff, which was by Do Craft, a lot of the peel offs don't say acid free anymore, but they used to. And then vellum at the back, Paper Mania vellum. And this one I used was a die cut that I had, which I don't have anymore, and I got loads of photographs when we went to Cornwall, and I just put them through my die cutting machine. Then the centre part, which gets cut out, I just used, but I put a foam square there, and again use these border peel offs. I used to use these border strips all the time because I just love them. And again, I had so many letters back then, all different types. Now this one, I don't do much rubber stamping, but this one I did do some rubber stamping on. I use Dovecraft acid free archival ink, and this is just a flower which I again border strips to make the stems, and then I had some butterflies which I stuck on, and these stamp, again I use the Dovecraft archival acid free ink, and then I just coloured it in, and then I just did one butterfly on the photograph, and actually I did some flowers on the photograph as well. And then I believe these border strips, I think they were Paper Mania, but they were definitely design objectives anyway. And then this one, I actually made a clock using brads. I had a big, and I've still got some, a big plastic box with lots of sections in with loads of different brads, and I just made a clock, and I put "There's always time for love." These letters I think came in a book that you press out, and I just made a clock there. And the hands can move. You can move them to a different time if you want to do that. Now this is the last layout I'm going to show you. This again was using some letters, but the letters weren't the right colour. I think they were white, so I just coloured them in with my Whispers brush mark pens. They were acid free. Now I've got some different acid free pens, but I don't know if they are permanent or if they would rub off. I will have to test that out and find out. Then I just used some flowers which I had in the pack, bit of paper, and I've got a border punch there with flowers on, which I used, and just a bit of tape there, which I'm not 100% sure if washi tape is acid free, but I used it, and I used some gemstones and did my journaling here. Now I make sure everything I use is acid free, because as I say, some of my layouts from 10 to 15, 16, 17 years ago have gone bad with the tape showing through. So what I've done is there's a separate video, I will put the link on. Please check that out. And now I've gone back into scrapbooking, I've been looking at my older layouts for inspiration, and I'm making sure that everything I use is acid free, because I don't want the same mistake to happen. So please make sure everything's acid free. I think this was a little crown punch I had, I think. But I don't seem to have that anymore. And I just hope you get some ideas from here. I need to refresh my brain to get ideas, because I haven't done much scrapbooking in the past 10 years. Before that, I did so many. Alright then. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Goodbye now.